You found this video for a reason, not because the algorithm decided to show it to you, not because you were mindlessly scrolling through endless content. You found this because something inside you has been stirring, something that's been building beneath the surface of your everyday routine, and right now, in this moment, you're exactly where you need to be. There's a specific kind of quiet that settles over your life right before everything shifts. It's not the silence of emptiness or the stillness of being stuck. It's the deep, charged quiet that comes when the universe is holding its breath, when all the pieces are moving into position behind a curtain you can't quite see through yet. You've been living in that quiet, haven't you? That strange, suspended space where nothing seems to be happening, but everything feels like it's about to. For months now, maybe longer, you've been walking through what feels like a holding pattern, days blending into each other, routines that used to provide comfort now feeling hollow, conversations that once energized you, leaving you feeling drained. You've been telling yourself it's just a phase, just a rough patch, just life being life. But deep down, you know something else has been at work. You know because your dreams have been different, more vivid, more symbolic, carrying messages you can't quite decode but can't ignore either. You know because you've been waking up at strange hours, not from anxiety or stress, but from a kind of inner alarm clock that seems to be preparing you for something. You know because when you look in the mirror, sometimes you catch glimpses of someone you don't quite recognize yet, someone who's been forming in the shadows of this quiet season. This isn't about positive thinking or willing something into existence. This is about recognizing that you've been in preparation mode, even when it felt like nothing was preparing. Every disappointment that taught you what you actually value, every door that closed and forced you to discover strength you didn't know you had, every person who walked away and left space for the right ones to find you, every habit that stopped working and pushed you toward better ways of living. You've been building something without realizing it, not consciously, not strategically, but the way trees grow stronger root systems during harsh winters, the way muscles rebuild themselves after being broken down, the way diamonds form under pressure so intense that when they finally surface, they're unbreakable. The signs have been subtle but constant. You've started noticing patterns everywhere, numbers that keep appearing, songs that play at exactly the right moment, conversations that seem to speak directly to questions you haven't asked out loud. Your intuition has been firing on levels you've never experienced before. You'll think of someone and they'll text you within hours. You'll have a feeling about taking a different route home, and later discover you avoided something you didn't even know was coming. But it's more than just heightened awareness. Something fundamental has shifted in how you respond to chaos. Where you used to react with panic, you now find yourself responding with an almost eerie calm. Situations that would have sent you spiraling just months ago now feel manageable, temporary, like weather patterns you can simply wait out. This isn't numbness or disconnection. This is the deep stability that comes from knowing without being able to explain how you know that you're exactly where you need to be. You've been detaching from things that once defined you, not through force or dramatic decisions, but through a natural process of outgrowing. Friendships that felt essential now feel optional. Goals that seemed urgent now feel irrelevant. Fears that used to control your choices now feel like old clothes that no longer fit. You're not becoming cold or indifferent. You're becoming selective, discerning, aligned with something deeper than external validation or temporary comfort. People around you have started commenting on something different about your energy. They can't name it exactly, but they notice. Some are drawn to this new version of you, curious about what's changed. Others feel threatened by it, uncomfortable with your newfound boundaries, your refusal to engage in dramas that used to consume you. Both reactions are telling you the same thing. You're not who you used to be. This transformation hasn't been loud or obvious. There was no moment when you decided to become someone new. Instead, it's been happening in the spaces between thoughts, in the pause before you speak, in the way you breathe through situations that used to steal your breath entirely. You've been rewiring yourself at a level so deep that even you haven't fully recognized the scope of what's been occurring. But recognition is coming. The final pieces are sliding into place with a precision that feels almost orchestrated. Opportunities you stopped looking for are starting to appear. People who understand your new frequency are entering your orbit. Resources you need are becoming available through channels you never expected. Doors are opening, not because you're pushing harder, but because you've finally become someone who's ready to walk through them. The waiting is almost over, not the kind of waiting where you're passively hoping for rescue, but the kind where you've been actively becoming the person who can handle what's coming next. You've been in training without knowing it, developing muscles you didn't realize you needed, learning languages you didn't know you were studying, preparing for a role you couldn't have auditioned for because you had to grow into it first. 24 hours, not literal time, but the symbolic moment when everything that's been building in the invisible realm suddenly becomes visible in your physical reality, when the internal shifts you've been experiencing start reflecting in your external circumstances, when the person you've been becoming finally gets to meet the life that's been waiting for that version of you. This isn't about everything becoming perfect or easy. It's about everything becoming aligned. The struggles you'll face will feel different because you'll be facing them from a place of strength you've been cultivating in secret. The opportunities that present themselves will feel different because you'll recognize them as extensions of work you've already been doing on levels you couldn't see. You're standing at the edge of a timeline shift, not moving to a different reality, but finally stepping into the one you've been preparing for all along. The one where your intuition is trusted, where your boundaries are respected, where your energy is invested in ways that multiply rather than drain. If you came this far, drop the word ready down below. The energy around you has been shifting in ways that don't make logical sense. You walk into rooms and feel the atmosphere change, not because you're trying to command attention, but because something in your frequency has been recalibrated. Conversations flow differently when you're present. Conflicts that used to escalate seem to dissolve before they can take root. You're not doing anything differently on the surface, but everything is responding to you differently. This isn't coincidence. This is what happens when someone moves through a deep, internal reorganization, when old programming gets overwritten by something more authentic, more aligned. You've been operating from a different core frequency, and the world is starting to mirror that back to you. The timing of everything has been precise in a way that feels almost supernatural. Delays that frustrated you months ago now reveal themselves as perfect protection. Rejections that stung at the time cleared the path for opportunities you couldn't have imagined. People who disappeared from your life left space for connections that actually understand who you're becoming. Nothing was random. Everything was orchestration. You've noticed how your tolerance for certain energies has completely evaporated. Gossip that used to entertain you now feels toxic. Drama that used to draw you in now repels you instantly. Spaces that used to feel comfortable now feel suffocating. This isn't you becoming judgmental or superior. This is your system becoming more sensitive to what serves your growth and what stunts it. Your sleep patterns have been different too. Not restless or anxious, but deeper somehow. Like your subconscious has been processing decades of accumulated patterns and finally clearing them out. You wake up feeling like you've traveled somewhere important, even when you can't remember the dreams. Your body knows it's been doing essential work, while your mind was quiet. The people who belong in your next chapter have been making themselves known, not through grand gestures or obvious signs, but through subtle recognition, conversations that feel like coming home, collaborations that flow without effort, connections that seem to understand your language before you fully learn to speak it yourself. Your tribe has been assembling while you weren't looking. Meanwhile, the people who belong to your old story have been naturally fading. not through conflict or dramatic endings, but through organic distance, plans that stop materializing, conversations that lose their depth, invitations that feel optional rather than essential. This isn't loss, this is clearing. Your relationship with uncertainty has fundamentally changed. Where you used to need detailed plans and guaranteed outcomes, you now find yourself comfortable with fluidity, trusting that clarity will come when you need it, that resources will appear when you're ready for them, that the next step will reveal itself as you take the current one. This isn't reckless optimism. This is earned wisdom. The way you handle stress has been completely rewired. Situations that would have sent you into overthinking spirals now get processed with a clarity that surprises even you. You find solutions where you used to find problems. You see opportunities where you used to see obstacles. Your nervous system has learned to stay calm in chaos, and that calmness has become your superpower. Your creativity has been flowing differently. Ideas arrive fully formed rather than fragmented. Projects that align with your purpose seem to organize themselves. Resources you need appear through unexpected channels. It's as if the universe has been preparing a workspace designed specifically for what you're meant to create next. Even your physical environment has been shifting. Spaces that used to feel like home now feel temporary. Possessions you once cherished now feel like clutter. Your surroundings are naturally organizing themselves around the person you're becoming rather than the person you used to be. Everything is preparing for relocation, not necessarily physical, but energetic. The signs are accelerating now. Synchronicities that used to happen occasionally are becoming daily occurrences. Your intuition speaks so clearly, you barely need to question it anymore. Decisions that used to require extensive analysis now feel obvious. You're operating from a level of knowing that bypasses traditional logic and goes straight to truth. This is what happens right before everything clicks into place, when all the internal work you've been doing starts manifesting in your external reality, when the person you've been becoming finally gets to meet the circumstances that match that evolution, when preparation meets opportunity in ways that feel both surprising and inevitable. The infrastructure for your next chapter has been building in the background. Networks forming, skills developing, resources accumulating, timing aligning. Not because you've been forcing outcomes, but because you've been becoming someone who naturally attracts what matches their frequency. Your breakthrough isn't coming from outside circumstances finally changing in your favor. Your breakthrough is you finally changing in ways that allow you to recognize and receive what's been waiting for the right version of you to claim it. The opportunities have been there. The connections have been available. The resources have been accessible. You just needed to become someone who could see them clearly and engage with them confidently. 24 hours represents that final moment of preparation, when everything you've been building internally reaches the tipping point where it has to express itself externally, when the invisible work becomes visible results, when the quiet season transforms into the active season, when waiting becomes receiving. You're not the same person who entered this period of preparation. Your values have evolved. Your priorities have clarified. Your boundaries have strengthened. Your vision has sharpened. Your capacity has expanded. You've been forged into someone who can handle what's about to unfold. The timeline you're stepping into isn't just different circumstances. It's a completely different way of existing, where effort flows instead of forcing, where doors open instead of slamming shut, where your authentic self is welcomed instead of tolerated, where your gifts are needed instead of questioned. This video finding you isn't random. You're here because the shift is imminent, because the preparation phase is complete, because everything you need to know, you already know. Everything you need to be, you already are. Everything you need to have, you're about to receive. If you came this far, drop the word ready down below. Far, drop the word ready down below. The moment you've been sensing is here. not the dramatic breakthrough you imagined, but the quiet click when everything finally locks into place. You've been living in the space between chapters, and that space is about to close. Your body already knows. That's why you've been sleeping differently, why certain foods don't appeal to you anymore, why crowds feel overwhelming when they never used to. Your nervous system has been recalibrating itself for a different kind of existence, one where you don't have to armor yourself against every interaction, where peace isn't something you chase but something you carry. The people who were meant to witness your transformation have been positioning themselves without you orchestrating it, new faces appearing in your periphery, old connections resurging with perfect timing, conversations happening that feel less like small talk and more like soul recognition. Your energetic signature has been broadcasting on a frequency that your true tribe can finally detect. Meanwhile, the noise that used to fill your days has been systematically removed. Arguments that would have consumed hours of your mental energy now resolve themselves before you even engage. Obligations that felt heavy have naturally dissolved. Commitments that drained you have found their own endings. You're not becoming antisocial, you're becoming intentional. The preparation is complete. The person you've been becoming in silence is ready to meet the world that's been arranging itself around your new frequency. What felt like waiting was actually becoming. What felt like delay was actually precision. What felt like loss was actually clearing. Everything that needed to fall away has fallen away. Everything that needed to arrive is arriving. The 24 hours isn't about time running out. It's about time beginning. Your time. The version of your life that matches who you've grown into during this quiet season of transformation. You don't need to announce your arrival. You don't need to prove your readiness. You just need to step forward when the moment presents itself, and you'll recognize that moment because your entire being will say yes before your mind has time to question it. The shift is here. You are ready. If you made it this far, drop the word ready down below.